This essay is about the Donald, and I get it. You know, in our society, we have people on the right who are conservatives. We have some in the middle, and then we have some on the left, and they are liberals. And I understand that we will argue about political issues, and this is America. We're free to argue about them. We're free to debate them. The problem with the Donald is that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Um, just in the last month or so, he has finally said to all America, yes, President Obama was born in the United States, after spending years claiming that he was born in Kenya. But he's still harping on the issue that he knows more about ISIS and how to defeat ISIS than any of our generals. And as soon as he becomes president, you know what he's going to do? He's going to defeat ISIS in a matter of a short period of time because he already has a plan. I mean, I don't want to get into building the walls or keeping Muslims out of our country, but some of those issues are important, and then some issues are kind of unimportant. He was interviewed on television probably a month or two ago, and they were talking about Ukraine. And he refers to Ukraine as the Ukraine. The Ukraine, that term has not been used for decades. The country's name, the Donald, is Ukraine. And in part of that interview, he was also talking about a part of Ukraine called Crimea. Every time he talks about Crimea, he talks about it as the Crimea. Donald, Crimea has never been called the Crimea. And recently he's been harping on Hillary Clinton's stamina versus his. Obviously he's macho, but this is a challenge to the Donald. I'm probably 2 or 3 years older than the Donald, and I challenge you now, Mr. Trump, to test our stamina. And you're a failure before we even begin. But if you don't think you're a failure, then take me up on any one of my handful of stamina challenges, or all of them. My first challenge is for he and I to go to the next RAGBRAI, or even before the next RAGBRAI. We could do it even before the election. And the RAGBRAI is a bicycle race across the state of Iowa. They start on the western border of Iowa and race across Iowa to the Mississippi River. And depending on where RAGBRAI sets up its race, either the northern, the central, or the lower part of the state, every day it averages between 35 to 55 miles per day, all the way across the state. And my challenge is that I'll outrace him. He is not capable of racing across the state of Iowa. I guarantee you that somebody 2 or 3 years older than he is can outrace him on a bike any day. But if he's not into bike riding, what about kayaking? My backyard butts up against a man-made lake, and I have a kayak. In fact, I have 2 kayaks, one that he can borrow. And I will race him 1 lap around the lake, 2 laps around the lake. Doesn't make any difference. He's not capable of that. But I also challenge him to a race, running. 100 yards or anything between 100 yards and a marathon. And I will outrace him any day. Any day. The other challenge is I will do more crunches faster than he can do a few crunches any day. Every day I exercise for 45 minutes to an hour, and I do every day 300 crunches. When I started to write this essay, I decided that I was kind of getting in the spirit of things, so I'm moving my 300 crunches a day to 500. Let's test our stamina. The Donald talks about his stamina when he knows full well that he's not as healthy as he thinks he is. On my on the end of the essay, I have a link to Mayo Clinic's body mass index, and it's a little calculator, and all you have to do is put in your height, your weight, your sex, and your date of birth, and click, and it'll come up. It'll tell you whether you're normal weight, overweight, or obese. The Donald, I have normal body mass. It's 24.7. From what I've picked up off the internet about your height and your possible weight, which is possible also higher than what I find. Do you know what you rank as far as your body mass index? Obese. Now, I might be wrong, but I challenge you to prove it. The thing that I don't get is that the Donald can talk, but when he's challenged, he backs off. How many, of the people who read this essay, how many people think that he would accept any one of my challenges? And the reason why he's not going to accept them is that he's afraid of failure. The Donald should have read Shakespeare when he was growing up. And he should have remember what Shakespeare said in Julius Caesar. Cowards die many times before their death. The valiant take the death but once. Take care, Donald. Thank you.